And we are back looking at what lies ahead for the movies. We love Michael Snyder. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Welcome to you, my friend.
And it's a pleasure to be here. And I don't need a rainbow when I've got Kim Possible, Alberto Producero, and wait a minute. Hold on. Mark who? Mark, I don't know a guy named Mark. Oh, wait, there's the rainbow. Man, someone's been hitting the Tenuta Vineyards Cabernet, I think.
I'm telling you, you know.
Great stuff. Kim, I have to say quickly, I like to sometimes start with a fun fact. Nikki Haley was just crowned Miss Information in this year's annual pageant.
Excellent.
I just thought people should know.
Well done. Well done.
People had to know. Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's very good. Oh, and I just have to mention a big thank you to Kathleen for the super sticker, $20 super sticker. Thank you. You know, the show is crowdfunded, so we do rely on you for that. You can find more information at themarkthompsonshow.com. And of course, thank you for the super sticker, Kathleen. We appreciate that. So you've got some movies to talk about this time around.
I do. I want to start out by saying I did not see the big blockbuster opening today, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, because whenever I see a Transformers movie, it's more like the sinking of the Michael. I had a choice between Rise of the Beasts and seeing the upcoming Flash movie, and I think I chose wisely. I did like a Transformers movie called Bumblebee that was sort of a period piece with Haley Steinfeld bonding with a robot, but the rest of them have just not been my cup of tea. So I apologize for fans of robots in disguise. In this case, I think they turn into animals, or they look like animals and turn into... you know what? Let's move on to something more human. What do you say?
Yeah, why not? What about DaliLand?
Okay, so DaliLand was directed by Mary Harron, and Mary Harron was the director of such films as American Psycho and I Shot Andy Warhol, The Notorious Betty Page, and Charlie Says about Charles Manson. So she has a real affinity for, I guess, quirky, eccentric people, real-life oddities and outliers whose personal experiences, are compelling enough to make a movie exciting. And in the case of DaliLand, we have a Baroque mix of biographical fancy and period fetish that looks at the latter days of the very flamboyant master of surrealist art. And he was also a gleeful provocateur, Salvador Dali. And this is about his life in tandem with his wife and the love of his life, Gala. So the significant events in the movie, which is primarily set in 1974, include exclusive parties in Dali's upscale New York City hotel suite, in-studio painting sessions, chic gallery openings, elegant dinners that descend into backbiting, and of course, you got to have this, getaways to Dali's beloved Spain and also France, all seen through the ideas of this very good-looking but kind of callow guy named James. So this guy named James is a young man trying to break into the art world by working as an assistant to Dali's Manhattan-based rep. So the movie's point of view is that of an outsider, but this is really first and foremost a portrait of the artist as an iconoclast and a guy who could be, we'll call him difficult. I mean, Dali was somebody of massive talent with a very whimsical personality, but from considerable anecdotal evidence, he was given to near infantile willfulness. He acted like a big baby sometimes. He was plagued by insecurity. So you need a good actor for something like this. And the actor playing the role of this mustachioed marvel is crucial to making DaliLand work. And it's fortunate that the movie is anchored by a very kind of sly and complex performance from the distinguished thespian Ben Kingsley. So he plays this pioneering strange man, and it's also further enhanced by a renowned German leading lady, Barbara Zukawa, as the kind of controlling, money-obsessed Gala, who was Dali's original muse and sometimes tormentor. So their relationship is at the heart of it. Kingsley, he's just fantastic. The guy won the Oscar for the 1982 Gandhi movie, and he's played everything from, an aristocrat to an ordinary guy to a vicious gangster. He's a Marvel Comics villain, and he actually also played Sweeney Todd. Uh, and he has such versatility. He renders Dolly as this really complex, fascinating creature. Sugawa is great. I really was caught up by DaliLand, and some people may bitch about it being a little on the kind of conventional side in terms of, it's what you'd kind of expect from what we know about Salvador Dali, but I really love the performances. And you even get, speaking of the Flash, Ezra Miller, the headline grabber, the TMZ favorite, plays the young Dali in various kind of flashback sequences. I really enjoyed DaliLand, and if it sounds like it's in your wheelhouse, check it out. And it's in theaters and also streaming on demand. So that's very, very good in my book.
So you like DaliLand. Okay.
I did. I say hello, Dolly.
Okay. Let's take a look at your next movie, which is Blue Jean.
Okay, Blue Jean is fiction in the strictest sense, but it's the story basically that still rings true today and has a lot of honesty and truth to it. Writer-director Georgia Oakley has made a very moving drama about what happens in 1988 in the gay and lesbian community in England, because during that period, Prime Minister Maggie Thatcher's conservative government was trying to crack down on gays and lesbians with a kind of a law intended to ruin anyone who dares to be homosexual. So this movie is about a young woman, or maybe not so young, named Jean, played by Rosie McEwen. She's a secondary school gym teacher in England, and she's also a closeted lesbian. Despite having a girlfriend and a group of more out comrades in the gay club scene, Jean fears losing her job and alienating family members, so she's kind of kept that aspect of her life a secret. And again, her fears are well-founded because of Thatcher's repressive government. So reacting to the institutional homophobia with kind of righteous indignation, Jean's girlfriend, Viv, wants to go public and demonstrate against the law, and Jean is very, very reluctant to do that. And she, in the meanwhile, encounters one of her students at a lesbian bar, and the idea that this girl might reveal Jean's double life to school administrators further complicates matters, and it brings the teacher to a crossroads. I mean, McEwen, unadorned and generally restrained on screen, as I guess fits her dilemma, manages to convey the depth of Jean's sadness and conflict with like a glance or an almost imperceptible wince. She is superb. And Oakley's script and direction, never a false note emotionally or contextually, and the use of time-specific music and fashion and media bring more authenticity to Blue Jean. Cultural touchstones aside, a depiction of this community under siege and its plea for solidarity against hate are as relevant now as they were then. And, high marks for Blue Jean. It's a terrific movie. It's in select theaters in New York and LA, and it will be opening next Friday in San Francisco and other cities across the country.
Okay, can we look for that streaming as well? That sounds really interesting.
Not quite yet. There's no note on streaming, but it is a worthwhile movie, and Pride Month is upon us. And so I think it's very, very timely in many other ways. Let's go. I want to cover something lighthearted and uplifting.
Flamin Hot?
Hey, the proudly Hispanic actress Eva Longoria, veteran of TV's Desperate Housewives and other provocative roles, rolls out her first effort as a director of feature films. She's not in the movie unless she's pulling an Alfred Hitchcock, and I didn't notice her. Flamin Hot is the title, and despite the title, it's not about her estimable sex appeal. Let's call it that. No, Flamin Hot is based on the true story of a working-class Mexican-American named Richard Montañez, who left a rough life on the mean streets of La Raza in SoCal to support his wife and kids with a low-paying janitorial job at a Frito-Lay plant where Fritos and Cheetos were manufactured. So while Richard and his devoted wife, Judy, were struggling to make ends meet in the early 1980s, Ronnie Reagan's America was putting an even bigger squeeze on the poor while trying to sell the bogus idea of trickle-down economics. Yeah, Reagan's doing that in the States. Margaret Thatcher's clamping down on gay and lesbian lifestyles and lives. It wasn't a great time, despite what you may recall about the 1980s. Anyway,
Yeah.
times were tight at the Frito factory, but when the chips were down, so to speak, Richard had an idea. Market spicier snacks to the Hispanic market. So Flamin' Hot is the story of how this guy made Flamin' Hot Cheetos become a massive success for Frito-Lay. But who would
So,
listen
wait a
to
minute.
it?
This movie is about Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
It is about the creation of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I am not
Okay.
joking. I mean, this is how they became this massive success. I mean, who would listen to a janitor about something that's usually the purview of massive corporate research and development?
Right.
It sounds like a pipe dream, or maybe it's an American dream in action. You're going to have to watch the movie to see, and preferably with a bag of Cheetos and a Pepsi. Yes, the product placement is more than overt. I mean, let's be straight up about this. PepsiCo, which is the Pepsi Cola company, was Frito-Lay's parent company. And so we do get, like I said, product placement here. But we also get relative unknown Jesse Garcia, who is very compelling and likable as Richard, and Annie Gonzalez, equally impressive as Judy. And there are some reliable veterans in the cast, all of whom are welcome. They include Tony Shalhoub as the then president of PepsiCo, Dennis Haysbert, that's right, Mr. Allstate, the voice of God, as a very savvy co-worker who mentors Richard, and Matt Walsh from Veep, a guy I've met recently, a tremendous guy who also co-founded the Upright Citizens Brigade sketch comedy school. Matt Walsh as Richard's dominating and kind of almost a little on the racist side floor manager at the factory. The script by Linda Yvette Chavez and Louis Collick is pretty standard feel-good stuff, but kudos to Longoria, who gets fine performances from the actors and delivers an enjoyable and thoroughly professional dramedy and biopic. You know, after Flamin' Hot, this housewife shouldn't be desperate for directing gigs. She does a great job here. And guess what, Kim? It may be in theaters, but it's also now streaming on Hulu.
Okay.
Flamin' Hot.
Nice. Flamin' Hot. Who would have thought a movie about Cheetos, but you liked it. All right.
I enjoyed it. It's, you know, it's boilerplate feel-good stuff, but everybody brings their A game. And when people do that and it's an uplifting story, hard to resist it, you know?
Let's talk about Blood and Gold.
Yeah, we'll wrap this movie segment up with Blood and Gold. It's incredibly watchable, just like Flamin' Hot, but in a B-movie way. Blood and Gold, produced for Netflix, is a German action movie set in 1945, near the end of World War II, when the Allies were starting to dominate the sputtering Nazi war machine. So aware that they're going to be on the losing end, an SS troop led by this disfigured, demented officer arrives at a rural town to seek out a cache of gold bars left behind by a Jewish family that was driven away in the wake of Kristallnacht, you know, the beginning of the oppression of Jews in Germany. So earlier, the SS contingent had hung a square-jawed German private who was conscripted and didn't want to join in, wasn't a true believer, and tried to desert in order to find and be reunited with his young daughter as the war was ending. So they're not happy about that. They hang the guy, but those nasty Nazis didn't count on the so-called deserter surviving the hanging attempt, and with the help of a local farm girl getting the gold, you know, or at least getting in the way of getting the gold. I mean, a handful of locals know about the gold in this town and have designs of getting away with it themselves. So there's a lot of a Quentin Tarantino vibe to Blood and Gold, with some grisly action and crazy reversals, explosive set pieces, ridiculously durable protagonists and antagonists. I mean, this guy survives a hanging. I mean, seriously. And there's a very upfront soundtrack of German pop tunes of the era and later. Did you ever hear Marlene Dietrich singing "Where Have All the Flowers Gone" in multiple languages?
Wow.
That's kind of cool. I imagine director Peter Thorwarth is very schooled in Tarantino's movies, and now Blood and Gold has come upon us, and it's not in the same league as Tarantino's awesomely unhinged World War II movie, Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
But it's streaming for free, and if you have a Netflix subscription, sehr gut. It is mostly in German with English subtitles. It's Blood and Gold, and it's on Netflix. You know, thank you. Before we head out, a couple of brief notes. We lost two of my favorite humanoids this past week, and very, very different people. Astrid Gilberto, the goddess-like voice of bossa nova, passed away this past week. And, you know, if you've heard the girl from Ipanema, you know her work, but she recorded so many beautiful songs, many by the bard of the bossa nova, Antonio Carlos Jobim. And she left us. And Roger Craig, the manager of the Giants, who led them to the 1989 Earthquake World Series. God, you know, I had the chance to meet the guy, and it was like meeting some kind of foxy grandpa. This guy was savvy and hip. You know, he was an older man, but man, he was right in the pocket, and he was able to get along with the likes of Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, and Matt Williams, and bring them to a National League pennant. I miss them both. And I'm mourning some TV shows. Ted Lasso on Apple TV ended after 3 seasons, although hopes for a spinoff remain about something about the football club AFC Richmond and the various characters. Succession and Barry have gone out with some bangs on HBO, and the bangs in Barry particularly loud. And then there's the absolutely ridiculous premature cancellation of Perry Mason on HBO after 2 stellar seasons.
Oh.
Matthew Rhys was magnificent. The everything about it, the direction, the art direction, the writing. They needed at least a 3rd season. And the bean counters at Warner's Discovery, I betcha, were responsible and have struck again. So all is not bad news on the video front. This coming week, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is back for a 2nd season on Paramount Plus. And that's my little TV report.
I love that you do that, because I really listen to what you have to say TV wise. I don't always love the TV shows that you tell me to watch. Sometimes they're a little violent for me, but a lot of times you get it exactly right. So I appreciate that you add TV to the end of it. Let me do a little recap. You loved DaliLand.
Mostly for the performance by
performances.
But yeah, the performances by Ben Kingsley and Barbara Zukawa were wonderful.
You called Blue Jeans superb.
Yeah.
Flamin Hot, you actually liked it. You said it's kind of a professional thing going on there, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah, cheers to Eva Longoria. Nice job, Eva.
And you said Blood and Gold is watchable.
Fun.
Fun and watchable. Okay.
Violent fun, not for Kim, but
fun.
Not for me. Oh, and you know, if you haven't seen Star Trek: Strange New Worlds and you have a Paramount Plus subscription, it's the adventures of the Enterprise crew prior to Kirk and the Spock, and it's with the young Spock, and the actors are wonderful. It's a treat as far as this Trek fan goes.
Well, you are amazing, and I love having you on Fridays. I appreciate your movie reviews and your thoughtfulness, and there's so many ding words that were in there that I just I can't ding them all. You're just like one giant ding. What happened there.
Hey, if you want to,
yeah, it sounds like someone stole something from the department store. That's
no, if you want to read, I'll tell you, if you want to read more about DaliLand and Blue Jean, it's on the cover of the current issue of the Marina Times, my piece on those movies, and it's also available at marinatimes.com. Just a little plug for me.
Absolutely. And where can people find you online?
I am at Culture Blaster on Twitter and Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram because, you know, got to stay visual.
That's right. I have it at the bottom of the screen. Michael Snyder, thank you so much. He comes and goes on a rainbow.
Go Giants!
Thank you, Michael Snyder.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.